Hey guys, welcome to a new video. For today's video, we'll be making the dress as seen on the screen right now, or the dress you saw on the thumbnail. So for this, I'm beginning my measurements from the 7 mark because I'm going to be taking out 7 inches for the lace net part of the dress, which is the beginning of the dress. Then I'm going to start my measurements from 7, and I'm going to mark out where I want the dress to end first. So I've already cut out the front part, and now I'll be cutting out the back part also, but this is with the zipper allowance, which is like a little bit more than 1 inch. So this is the front and back cut together. But first thing I'm also going to do is just nudge the middle of this dress so that it keeps me on track when I'm sewing it. Yes, so for this now, I'm starting my measurement from 6.5. So this is like the half stands for the sewing allowance for the clothes. So for the person's bust point is on 16, so I'm going to mark out the 16 point here, then 3 inches down for the waist. We're also going to mark that out, and then also 3 inches to the above hip area. Abi? Yep. So this is what I have. Then I'm going to repeat it on this side just so I'm able to get perfectly straight lines. So that is also 16, 19, and 20. Okay, so I'll just draw a line for them to meet. Okay, so then from the bust to bust area, it measures for the person's own is 7, so I'm going to be using 8, which is like a 1 inch sewing allowance for both sides, which is actually half for both sides. um okay, so on this under bust area here, I'm going to touch 12, so that's from the shoulder to nipple area, and then this 16 is the shoulder to under bust area. So on this 16 area down here, now I'm going to take out 1 inch for both sides because this person is not a very busty person, and then I'm going to join this line down to this point, then join this also down to this point here. So you can also join this with your free hand, doesn't really matter for much. You can also still join this with your free hand if you want. So this is what I have for this cutting. I'm going to come to the top and mark out one here and also one on this side. Now the reason why this is very long from this part to this is because the person does not want any part of her chest showing at all. She wants it all covered. So this is what I have for this dress currently, and then I'm just going to cut out this point here. Just going to cut this part out. So for this, I've already cut this out, and this is what the top of this dress looks like. So I'm just going to go on and then take out the sides here that I don't need just after the allowance. Okay, so from this point down, which I marked out as the waistline, I'm going to be measuring out 9 inches, and from there I'm going to be taking the hip measurement. So I'm going to be taking the hip measurement from this point. So guys, this is what this dress is supposed to look like. And then this is the person's figure, but I'm only going to mark this out when I'm done joining all of this dress. So now I'm going to cut out the back and do the same thing for the back area. So one more thing is that this marked line already has the inclusion of allowance for this clothes, right? So meaning that if the original measurement for the person's body is here, I have added this point as an allowance for both sides. I've added like this much for an allowance for both sides, so I do not want to make any stain mark. So I just did all of that calculation on my tape, like divided the person's body circumference by 4, marked out the points like a full stop, just like this one on one point here, and then add maybe like 1 inch allowance or the amount of allowance that I desire for the cloth. And so that's what I did. So for this dress, I'm not here going to cut out the armhole area. I intend to join the top of this dress to it first, then I'm just going to cut out the armhole area along with the neck side too. So now I've been placed the front on the back of this, and now to mark out this same line on the back, obviously it's not going to have this breast dart area. So to mark out the same thing at the back, I'm going to make a line here, so it just helps me know where I'm supposed to put the line. Then I'm going to have the back darts also stop here, or it might even go down as much as 1 inch for the back. Then it's also going to meet at the top here. So for this, I will simply remove the zip allowance, which is like 1.5 inch, then come down here and mark the same 4, which is the nipple to nipple measurement. So from this 4, I'm going to measure out 2 on both sides. My zip allowance or my zipper allowance is 1 inch here. Then the nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inch, which makes a total of 5 inch on this. So I'm just going to mark out that 5 inch here. Now come down here and do the same thing also. This is how long I want the back dart to be. Let me take a measurement of this. So let me make it 6 inches. Then I'm also going to measure out the same 5 here. So this is the midline where this is going to meet this, right? So on this same point, I'm going to come to the top here and also do the same. So this is the 5 inch. Now this was the original line that I marked it out using the front area. Now this is the 2 inches here. So I'm going to be joining them to meet. And so this is what the back dart looks like. Now for this area here that also has the 1 inch zipper allowance, I like to make a curve around here just so that the dress does not have a fold at the back and it is straight at the back area. So this part of this, so now the new zipper allowance would have even shifted in more, making the back space here smaller. So now that I've cut it, this is what I have. This is what the back area looks like, although I reduced the cutting a little bit just so that the space is smaller, and then I have like more material to work with in general for all this. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the lining for this dress. I already attached this to the back, then I'm just going to turn this over with the lining. The lining has also been sewn, joined the same way, so I'm just going to turn this over with the lining just so it looks like this, like the back own, just so it looks like the back own has already been joined. So now that I've joined this front part already, now I folded it into two. Now I'm going to measure from the under bust to the neck area, and yes, it is actually enough for what I need. Now I'm going to mark out the shoulder point. So now I'm going to measure out what I need for the shoulder and then make a mark here, and then also take out what I need for the neck area, which is this 3.5 here. So on this point I'm coming down by 1 inch, which is this. Then I'll just make a straight line. So this is what I have for this, and being that this is like the chest line, I'm just going to extend this a bit, or I'm just going to extend this to touch the shoulder area, so it will help me mark out for the armhole area. So for this neck line area, I'll come down by 4 for the neck, because that's how deep I want it to be, and then just join it with this point that I already marked out for the beginning of the neckline along the shoulder area. So this here is what I have. Now I'm just going to cut it out. So now this is what I have for the shoulder and neck area, and this is what it looks like when open. Then I'll just do the same thing for the back. I'll put this on the back and then mark it out also. So guys, as you can see, I have already turned the neck of this. I turned it in with a bias, and I have hemmed it already. Now I've also attached the arm to a certain part, so I have not completed the arm. This is because I'll be adding the net that we saw around the chest line to the arm area. So now that I have, and then I have marked it out on this arm area, so I'm going to follow the straight line on this, and then I have marked a curved line up to this point. It's pretty faint, but I have done that also. So now this is the net I'm going to be using for the round area of the chest. So I'm just going to cut this by 4.5 inch, because that's how wide I want it to be, 4.5 inch for each one. So I'm going to mark that out. Then I'm going to repeat that and cut out 4.5 inches severally, just so that, and then I'm going to join it so I can just run gathers on it. So now that I have all this cut already, I'm just going to join it by the ends so that I can run gathers on everything. Then I'll pull it all together so I can just take it around the chest area. So this is what the net looks like after I have run the gathers on it. Then I'm going to put this in the middle of it and hold it on the dress, just so that it has this look along this white line here. Okay, so I've attached the net to the neck area, and I've also sewn the biads on it, and this is what it looks like right now. I've also gone ahead to shaping the dress, but then I still have the arm area to work on. So I'm going to attach the ankara to the bottom of this part and then close it to the armhole area, and then the dress is like done. Yes, once I do that, the dress is literally done. So guys, this is the finished dress. This is what it looks like. I have attached the net, yes, and then I've attached the sleeve. So this is what the finished dress looks like. So please, if you like this video, kindly leave a thumbs up. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye.